I've had the benefit of knowing Sarah and Scott for quite a few years now. I've had the chance to see Unruly grow, and Unruly actually inspired this speaking series in some ways. It's a real pleasure to have both of you here. We know what you've become, but what did you set out to do?
Everything that we did, everything that we tried out was around video and around social. So the very, very first thing that we did was create the site called the Viral Video Chart. We were just sucking in lots of data from the social web in order to figure out what videos were trending. And that kind of interest in data and also the interest in consumer behaviour underpins a lot of the product set that we have now.
Viral Video Chart was great, but we could see it wasn't going to be a fantastic business model. So what we could see pretty much on day one was there was huge appetite from brands and agencies to use video to connect with consumers.
We started to get inbound interest from brands and from ad agencies. And this was, very early. This is kind of 2006, 2007. This has become a really big industry now, and it wasn't a big industry at the time. We actually tracked ARPU, so average revenue per user,
I was going to get
quite closely from the beginning. So we knew how many users we had.
Right.
We knew what our absolute amount of money coming in was, and the video advertising thing really worked. But at a certain point, our audience stopped scaling. That's when we, started launching as a platform, providing monetization not just to our own site, but to other people's websites as well.
In the world of online, you know what people are clicking on. You know what's successful. So you obviously created something that had value. What was that thing that other people couldn't figure out?
So there were two things. There was the data, which was the sharing data. So we have the largest database of video sharing behaviour that exists. And we've been able to use that to build out expertise. And then the other thing that was different was scale. So because we were the first in the space, we were very quick to be able to scale our video platform. And our audience reach now is 1.27 billion. So we can reach 1.27 billion connected consumers globally every month. So speed and scale are something that we've always had. And shareability and portability of the player was the other thing.
And it's partly about paying bloggers or bloggers being able to benefit from videos that are seated on their site. Exactly.
So it's paid media. So this is brands, instead of paying a TV channel to run an ad, brands will pay Unruly, and then we'll distribute the ad across the open web to lots of publishers and bloggers, and they take a share of that.
But that was bold for the time. That was something that I don't think was being done elsewhere, was it?
We were really quite early, and it was really nice for sites like the Daily Mash, because just as for our own site, it created an additional and really valuable income stream. Now we're working with Hearst, with IDG, with IPC, as well as all these SME publishing businesses too.
The data that we've been collecting since 2006 is now being used to power one of our new products called ShareRank. This is a product we launched in 2012, and what we do is we predict virality of videos before they launch.
Which is kind of like the holy grail of advertising, right?
It is, and it's something that everyone said could never be done. And for years, people have been telling us that you just can't do this, it's impossible. And we were like, oh, well, okay, well, that's a problem that's worth solving, isn't it? If it's that impossible, it's what advertisers want. We have a global algorithm, we have local algorithms, and we just launched a few weeks ago the movie trailer algorithm.
But how do you figure out how to run a global business when you've been running a successful London business? Because you're in 10 countries now. That's substantially different from what you were doing 2 years ago.
It's a really good point, and scaling up into different territories has been and remains the greatest challenge, I would say, in several ways. So communication becomes incredibly important and much more difficult when you're communicating across time zones.
One of the lessons that we've learnt is you actually can't over-communicate. You're never communicating enough within a business.
And then as well as communicating what's going on, it's about sharing best practices and making sure that we have consistency of delivery across the whole company.
You guys, in addition to being co-founders of this company, are married. It took me about a year, or maybe a couple of years to I think they're going out.
We had 3 children by this point.
I'm a little slow, what can I say? So if you're like any other couple, you'll have your moments where you don't necessarily totally agree with each other. How does that work when you have those moments at home and then you come to work?
What to say to that? We're just always aligned. No, it's not true.
The thing you should know about me and Scott is we're complete workaholics. So as a couple, it's really helpful to be working on the same project because then you really are aligned and you're doing something that you feel passionate about together.
Honestly, I think if we were running different startups or working for different companies, we'd have much more conflicts coming into our domestic life.
If you were to boil it down to one thing, like for this audience, for anyone who's striving to kind of follow in your footsteps in their own way, what would you advise them to do? Is there a secret?
Oh, that's a tough question. Is there a secret?
What's your one-word answer?
One-word answer? Matt asked for a sentence. Now you've boiled it down to a word. Okay, I can boil it down.
One thing. Could be a word or a sentence.
Going to go for a word, Matt. Going to go for a word. Team.
But you initially had 3 people, so how does that work?
Okay,
but it was
three amazing people. So, and it's
but
true.
How do you turn 3 into 160?
Well, so I mean, ambition, yeah, is another thing. You set your sights.
I hope you'll all join me in thanking Sarah and Scott for joining us today.